Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you all this evening on this magnificent Monday evening? So delighted you have joined us tonight for this fresh edition of Mocha Moments. I'm back. I'm off of my time of rest and relaxation and vacation and enjoying the company of my lovely wife while we celebrated 28 years of wedded bliss, as they say. And I'm glad to be back with you all tonight. And I'm also very delighted that you all haven't forgotten about me since I've been gone. Let me take the time to greet all of you tonight, Vera and Jackie, and Toya, Dr. Pat, Ann, Cassandra, Vonda, Denise, Ron, Kathy, Anthony. Good evening to all of you, and thank you so much for throwing up that Mocha Crew hashtag. Thank you for throwing it up. I appreciate that. Those of you that are joining us for the very first time, you may have arrived here on purpose, or you may have arrived here by accident. Nevertheless, welcome to Mocha Moments. This is a platform wherein I, your host, Dr. Tony D. Cobbins, just shares a little practical wisdom for daily living, something that we all can definitely benefit from. That's what this platform is all about. And as far as the Mocha Crew is concerned, the Mocha Crew is a community of people who have committed to following these Mocha moments. And they've also committed to being people who make it their business and make it their life's purpose to add value to other people. That's one of the things that I constantly encourage us to do. I try to do that as much as I can, add value to other people, and we can do that in some of the simplest ways. Just by sharing a smile with someone, just by showing someone courtesy, decent courtesy, whether you know them or not. One of the examples that I often use is when I approach a door and I know there's people that are coming in the door behind me. I try to make sure that I stop and hold the door for those who are coming in behind me. I let them go through first. And some of them express their appreciation, but some of them take it for granted. There are some people who are not courteous enough to say thank you for that small gesture. But that doesn't take anything away from me. I'm still going to be who I am because it is my life's mission to add value to other people. Let me say good evening to those of you who are popping in as I'm speaking right now. Jennifer, good evening. Angela Proctor, good evening to you. And of course, my girl just popped in. Lady Ann, I just told you all, we've been celebrating our anniversary, 28 years. We've had a marvelous time enjoying each other over the weekend. We've had a marvelous time enjoying each other over the past 28 years, but this past weekend was our time to officially celebrate our anniversary. And many of you sent us well wishes and congratulatory messages on our Facebook page, our social media pages, and the both of us, myself and Lady Ann, we are very appreciative to you for sending those congratulatory messages. It's just nice, and it feels good to know that there are people who are actually out there that love you and can celebrate with you instead of hate on you. Little humor there. But yeah, we are certainly grateful to you for your expressions of love, but most of all, we're grateful to God for keeping us throughout these 28 years. Lady Ann, she just concurred. She's confirming what I'm saying right now. She said, yes, fabulous celebration. I tried to do all that I can. I try to always do everything that I can to make life as pleasant for her as possible. Whatever is within my power to do, that's what I try to find myself doing. And I don't just share these things or say these things to impress you all, because that's not my goal. That's not my objective rather. My objective is to impress and please this love of my life, Lady Ann. I'm always trying to impress her in whatever way I can. So again, we spent a wonderful weekend together, and we're back in the saddle now. We're rolling up our sleeves and ready to get back to work. Well, tonight I want to talk to you, and hopefully the subject matter tonight is going to be of some encouragement to many, if not most of you. Terry Kazam, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I want to make many of you aware of the fact or the reality that sometimes gritty starts can ultimately lead to great success. Gritty starts can ultimately lead to great success. I know that many, if not most of us, have a dream or a vision of doing something remarkable in our lifetime. We have a dream or a vision of doing something incredible, something significant. There is something buried deep inside you that has been waiting your entire lifetime to be released. Now, I know some of you have heard this type of message before, time and time and time again, but apparently this message keeps coming to you because you have not embraced this message as of yet, and you really need to embrace this message. I truly believe that there is something buried on the inside of you, very deep inside you, that needs to be released. Now, if this particular Mocha moment isn't for you, I understand. And if you don't want to waste your time sitting here listening to what I'm about to share with you, I totally get it. I totally understand, because every Mocha moment is not for everybody. I know that the messages that I put out there and give to people, as encouraging as they may be, these messages are really not for everybody. But I want to challenge you. If you want to achieve something great in your life, if there's something on the inside of you that you've been waiting and wanting to release, and you just need that extra nudge to release what's inside of you, then I want you to hang around with us and be a part of this discussion tonight. If you feel like this is the time for you to check out, then I'm good with it. I'm okay with it, because once again, I'll make this perfectly clear. I know that every message isn't for everybody. Not every messenger is for everybody, but I want to talk to people, and I want to encourage people who have dreams and visions, regardless as to what stage you're in life, regardless of your age, regardless of your financial positions. I believe the reality is sometimes we place too much emphasis on where we are financially as it pertains to pursuing or realizing our dreams and visions. We rely too much on our finances and not on the resource that God has already equipped us with. Some things don't need finances. Some things just need energy. Some things just need some a strong desire to get certain things done or accomplished. There are many of you, I believe, who are viewing this right now, who have something powerful, something significant on the inside of you, something that will not only make a great difference in your life, but in the lives of others as well. But you have this one small issue standing in the way. This one little bitty issue that's been standing in your way from the time of this particular dream and vision being given to you. And I'm truly one who believes that God is the author and the giver of dreams and visions. And I believe that when God gives you a dream and a vision, then it is his intent for you to pursue that dream and vision and to accomplish whatever it is he's placed inside of you. God doesn't just place seed in us to just lie dormant and for nothing to happen with regards to the development of that seed. God gives us certain things. He gives us, okay, maybe I need to put it more so in layman terms for some of you. Some of you have great ideals, great inspiration that's lying dormant on the inside of you, that once again, it was given to you by God, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. It was given to you by God, that God wants to be produced through you. He chose you to produce and manifest this great thing that's buried deep inside of you. And it's my job, I believe, it's my assignment to call those things forth. How am I calling them forth? By this platform that we're on right now. Some of you are starting to really give some careful consideration to the things that you've had buried for many, 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 many years. I stated a few minutes ago that the only problem is you've got this one small issue standing in your way. Now, the question might be, for some of you, what is that one small issue? That one small issue standing in your way is, wait for it, getting started. That's the thing. Listen, getting started is probably one of the most difficult things you will ever be challenged with in your lifetime. Simply getting started. And I'm saying this to you from a position of experience. I have been so delayed with pursuing some of the things that God has placed on the inside of me, simply because I was apprehensive about getting started. Here's a reality. Getting started is problematic for a lot of people because of the potential problems they are likely to face in the process of pursuing their dreams. No one ever wants to have to think about having to face or deal with potential problems. I'm not even talking about actual problems that have already manifested and can be readily identified. I'm talking about potential problems. One of the things that has held me back, or that did at one time hold me back from pursuing some of my dreams and visions, were the words, what if? What if this? And what if that? And the problem with it is that I would always consider the what ifs from a negative perspective. What if this doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Negativity somehow took up most of my thinking space with regards to pursuing my dreams and visions. Is there anybody other than myself that has experienced those kind of feelings, knowing that you have something in you that you want to get out, knowing or truly believing that what is in you is meant to be produced and manifested, knowing that the inspiration that you have received, the vision that you have received will be a blessing, not just for you, but for other people as well. But you keep wrestling with this one little issue, and that's getting started. You think about all of the problems that you may encounter, even with just getting started. Problems like things not coming together the way you planned. For some people, that's a problem. And again, you can stick that what if in front of, what if things don't come together the way I planned for them to? Another problem that gets in the way is not having the adequate amount of resources to do what you want to do. I don't have the money I feel like I need to have. I don't have the experience I feel like I need to have. I don't have the contacts that I feel I need to have. But you do have what it takes to get started, believe it or not. What you have, which is what ultimately matters with regards to pursuing your dreams and visions, what you have to get started is the dream and the vision itself. Let me throw up a couple of comments. Tara Kazam says, sometimes life gets in the way and distracts us from our assignments. For me, it can be my want to get tired of the juggling act. I understand that. And I feel where you're coming from. Because there have been many times where I have felt as though that life has gotten in the way. You know, I got too much going on right now. Let me share this tidbit of wisdom that I received from one of my indirect mentors. Now, he gave it to me directly, but he's one of my indirect mentors. He said to me, he said, Dr. Cobbins, there is never a perfect time to pursue your dreams and visions. And if you are looking for the perfect time, the closest thing that you're going to get to the perfect time is now. Now, when he and I were having that conversation, I was then contemplating when and how to start my coaching business. And I must have spewed out every excuse or reason, I thought, in the book for not getting started at that particular time. And again, I did make the mistake of saying to him, I want to get things lined up perfectly before I just jump out there and start to try to do some of the things I want to do. And he said something else to me during the course of that conversation. He said, Dr. Cobbins, sometimes you have to build and develop your wings on the way down. And he gave me this illustration of when mother birds have been known to kick their little birds, the young birds, out of their nests somewhat prematurely. And as the little birds were falling down for where they have been kicked out of the nest, they somehow instinctively began to flap their wings and develop the strength to turn upward before they crash and burn. They turn upward, and before they know it, they find themselves flying, not having been given one lesson. It's instinctive. It's something that ultimately happens out of necessity. Listen, there are many people who are in business right now who started their business, they started to pursue their dream or their vision during a time in their lives when it was most inconvenient for them. They may have felt backed into a corner. They may have felt like they had no other choice than to do what they needed to do just for the sake of surviving. I know I'm not the only one who's been in that type of situation. Listen, survival mode is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing, because instead of just surviving as a result of you reacting to what you're currently experiencing, which does not feel good, instead of just surviving, they find themselves, after they get into action and began to do some of the things that they thought they couldn't do, once they get started, after using or finding every excuse in the world why they shouldn't get started, that survival mode kicks in. They begin to operate based on necessity, not having any other choice. And they go from the mode of surviving into a mode of thriving. That's the beautiful thing about survival mode. Survival mode can ultimately push you into thriving mode. But you never will know whether or not you can thrive if you never start pursuing or trying to do what you believe is already in you to do. Cheryl said, good evening. She said, it's the sink or swim. That's exactly what it is. You either going to sink or you going to swim. Now, once again, it's particularly a struggle in your mind and in your spirit. It may not be a reality. It may not be as bad as what it appears to be on the surface. This whole thing of getting started and having to discover whether you're going to succeed or fail. It's all a matter of how you look at things. It's all a matter of your perspective on things. And again, when you get to a point where you really don't have a choice and you finally come to the conclusion that you're at a point wherein there's nothing for you to lose, that's really a win-win situation. Despite the fact you might feel like you're being forced into a situation. Well, if you're being forced into realizing a dream or a vision that you've had most of your life, that can only work out for your good if you respond in the right way. Don't worry about the timing. Don't worry about the amount of resources that you have or the lack thereof. Don't worry about that. As a matter of fact, sometimes the situation, you'll find yourself in a situation rather wherein you don't even have time to consider those things. You just got to jump out and do what you got to do. Some of us are afraid of going through a period of falling back before experiencing any forward progress. Well, that's part of the process sometimes. Sometimes you have to fall back a little bit. You know, you're gonna experience some regression. You're going to lose some ground. Not all the time, but there are times when you will lose ground before gaining ground. Let me go to a couple of more comments here. Shell said, it's trusting God over your fears and apprehensions. That's exactly what it is. And while you're trusting God, at some point in there, you got to be able to trust yourself as well. Now, that's not a statement of vanity. It's more about having confidence, believing in yourself after you have believed God first. You know, we quote scriptures like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yes, we can. But you got to know that the first word in that particular passage or in that particular phrase is I. It's okay to acknowledge that you do have a part and play a role in achieving your success or whatever success you are blessed to achieve. Yes, God is at the head. God is the initiator. God is the one who gives you the strength and the power. He gives you the ability. He gives you the intelligence to do what you do. But what if God were to provide all of that for you, give it to you, but yet you're not willing to do anything with it? Then what happens? Because there are a lot of people whom God has given great gifts and talents and abilities, but they do absolutely nothing with what God has given them. Toya says, you may not be successful in what you initially started out to do, but may find that there was something bigger and better in failing. With no, I guess you would say you would never know if you never started or tried. I think that's what she meant there with that last phrase. And I agree with that. There's a lot of truth in that. I have adopted the school and the belief that there's really no such thing as failing if you have a proper perspective on not accomplishing or achieving a certain thing or a certain task. Now, some of you might say, well, how is that not failing? It's not failing if you look at your attempt to do something and it not turn out the way you expected as a lesson learned. It's all good when you try something and it may not work, but you yet learn a lesson from it. I think I've shared this on this platform once before. I was reading somewhere where someone once asked Thomas Edison how many times he failed before he invented the light bulb. He said, not once. He said, I just learned what not to do over 88 times, which makes a whole lot of sense. I believe that Thomas Edison understood the definition of insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, the exact same way, and expecting different results. When you have a negative experience, when you attempt to do something and it doesn't turn out the way you intended for it to turn out, then you analyze what you've done and you say, okay, the next time I do this, at least I won't do it that way again. I'll have to try a different way. Tisha says, fall back for a big comeback. That's inspirational right there. Anthony, I agree with this. As Nike would say, just do it. Just do it. You know, a lot of times we see people and we see companies in the height of their glory, and we come to the conclusion that that they had instantaneous success. That's what I'm trying to say. We look at where they are in that present moment, in that period in time of our personal observation, and we conclude, wow, man, they made it big, and they must have done it with just one try. They didn't have to go through anything. Well, this past weekend, my wife and I happened to be watching the History Channel, and the History Channel was playing a series of documentaries that shared the history of automakers, not just here in the United States, but automakers all over the world. But long story short is that we both were very surprised with what many of these automakers had to go through in their stages of developing even now prototypes with regards to cars they wanted to produce, some of the challenges that they faced, some of the legal challenges, obstacles, roadblocks that they encountered while they were trying to produce a product that was not going to just benefit themselves, but that was just going to benefit the general public, if you will. We were really surprised with the number of years that they had to persevere through problems and overcome challenges from governments, from the legal system, and all of this. It really blew our minds as to how much they had to go through to get to where they are right now. And even prior to them getting where they are right now, from the time they began to mass produce these cars, they face one challenge after another, and it was just unimaginable to me. But here's one thing that they all had in common: they persevered through all of their challenges. They were willing to make adjustments and changes wherever the adjustments and changes were necessary. Many of them lost millions of dollars before they began to earn or profit any at all with regards to their earnings. But they kept pushing forward. Anytime they were told no, they found another angle, another approach to the powers that be in order to get what they wanted to get done. They persevered. They had gritty starts. I mean, really gritty starts. And for most of us, the starts that many of these auto manufacturers had, most of us would have quit. We would have thrown in the towel early on in the process. Most of us would have said that the headache isn't worth all that. Tisha says a lot of folk have to get rid of the negative self-talk, mind junk, traumas, and etc. That's true. That is also true. I recently started working on myself to do just that, to get rid of all of the negative self-talk. I start clearing out all of the mind junk. I started clearing out all of the traumas from my past failings or failures, if you will. Now, that's before I realized that there's really no such thing as failures when you learn lessons from those negative experiences. And as I've matured over my lifetime, I've looked back on some of the experiences that I've had, and I begin to see some of the lessons that I learned, even unconsciously, where I started to make adjustments in my life and kind of set my life on a different course simply because of what I learned from those negative experiences. Um, I think you fat fingered it there, though, Tisha. But I think you're trying to say that. Oh, there you go. You corrected in the next one. Perspective matters. Yes, it does. Perspective. That makes all the difference in the world. Shell says, "I've learned that once you move, God will guide you into environments of resources." Yes, He will. You've said a mouthful right there. And the sad thing is that a lot of people um don't realize it, or they fail to acknowledge it. And I think one of the reasons why that is because sometimes we become too dependent on other people, or too dependent even now on ourselves. Now, again, you got to believe in yourself, but in the process of believing in yourself, you truly must trust God. I hope that's making sense to you. Tisha said, "Yep, people look at the glory, but don't know the story." That's right. And we must not allow our age to be a hindrance to or either. That's right. Don't let your age. Don't let um, uh, the fact that you've passed 50, 60, or even now 70 years old. The question you've got to ask yourself, how much life do I have in me? And as long as you have life in you, and you know you have life in you, then you're a candidate for doing something great and significant, even at the age that you presently are. Whatever your age may be. Don't consider yourself too young to be successful. As a matter of fact, I would suggest that the younger you are, the more eager you should be to get started with regards to the pursuit of your dreams and visions. Kathy says, "Amen. I went back to school at the age of 69. That's my fabulous cousin, y'all. And yes, she is telling you all the absolute truth, because when she shared with me that she had gotten back into school, man, I can't tell y'all how proud I am of her for going back to school and pursuing a higher level of education. Because, Kathy, I don't mean to tell you business, but I do have to say this. Kathy has been successful in her lifetime. She has led a successful corporate life. And when she retired from her previous career, man, I admired the fact that she did not retire to sit around and do nothing. Why? Because she realized there was so much more in her. And I can recall a conversation, Kathy, I don't know if you remember sharing this with me or not, but when you went back to school, you talked about how everybody that was around you was much younger than yourself, but you did not allow that to intimidate you. I've been in that situation myself. I remember when I entered seminary for my master's degree, I was twice the age of the average student in that class with me. But I didn't let that intimidate me. Kathy, if I've said anything wrong, correct me. But if what I said is absolutely true, then I need you to confirm that in the comments for me. And once again, it was a matter of just getting started, doing what she knew she wanted to do. Listen, here's one of the things that I want you to take away from this Mocha moment tonight. And that is, oftentimes, success is only achieved through grit and grind. That's absolutely true. Sometimes that's the only place where you can truly realize success. Seldom, very seldom, does success come easy. And let me state for the record that it may not be easy, but you better know it is doable. Regardless as to where you are in life, you can succeed. Success is doable for you. Dr. Pat says, wow, that emptying out of past failures, trauma, mind junk, etc. sounds refreshing. I believe I'm exhaling. Thank you for your perspectives, CWC family. That's what this is all about. This is what this platform is really all about. And I may get the conversation going, but because of your input, your interaction, your sharing with one another, we are adding value to each other's lives. Shell says being committed to being a lifelong learner keeps you busy. Tell me about it. You know, just today, I was accused of being in school, being a learner for the past 122 years. Oh, glory. Kathy says, yes, I remember. I was the great grandma in the class. Wow. Oh, wow. With a 4.0 GPA. Hallelujah. You go, cousin. Man, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about right there. Listen, I'd like to believe, and I think I'm right about this, the reason why Kathy at 69 could have a 4.0 GPA is because she refused to allow what was in her to lie dormant for any period of time. Because if something lies dormant for too long, eventually it's going to die. Now, if this isn't a success story, I've never heard of one. Kathy, thank you so much for sharing that. That is amazing. I think some of us, many of us, all of us ought to be encouraged by that alone. Man, I just gained a greater energy and a greater confidence that I know I can do what I'm attempting to do now. I know I can do it. I believed I could do it before, but man, I'm so sure now because I'm saying to myself, if Kathy can do that, then I can do this. Thank you for inspiring me, Kathy, again. Cousin Kathy. and I know there's others who are being inspired even as we speak. Tara Kazan says, you got to be flexible. I pigeonholed myself into one business concept until a friend started requesting shirts. She started a game changer for me. Oh, that's a beautiful, wonderful illustration right there. That's a good example of what just getting started will do for you, how to make the difference. And that's the reason why you need the right people around you who will motivate you, who will push you, who will believe in you, who will tell you how much they believe in you. Shell said, I decided to place myself on a 90-day challenge. I'm lifting weights. My weight hit a plateau and challenging my body will get me to the next level. Oh, I can relate to that as well. You go, you do that thing. And I'm expecting to hear nothing but positive reports come out of this 90-day challenge that you've challenged yourself to. And let me say, for the record, you can do it. You got this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just take it one day at a time and be determined to make it happen. And it will happen for you. Kathy, you're receiving some congratulatory comments there. Congratulations. Praise God. Tisha says Kathy's on fire. Yes, she is. Uh, Angela, her other cousin, which is my big sister, say, yes, cuz. You're doing that thing. Shell, you're receiving some love now. You go. We're here to push you. We're here to encourage you. And ultimately, we want to celebrate you. Because that's what the Mocha crew does. It's what we do. That's what the Mocha crew is all about. Listen, again, as I stated earlier, it may not be easy, but it's doable. But I want you to know this, that there are benefits that are manifested through your season of a gritty start. Okay. Some of the benefits that come to mind is experiences are had and lessons are learned. You learn what to do. You learn what not to do. You learn what works and you learn what doesn't work. That comes from a gritty start. Another thing that happens is you become self-aware and self-discoveries are made. You come to know your strengths and you come to know your weaknesses. You come to know better what you can and what you cannot do. During that gritty start, you may discover whether you should stay the course or change courses altogether. I believe someone alluded to that a little while ago. You know, sometimes it's not meant for you to stay the course. Sometimes you have to try something other than what you can do to discover what you really need to or should be doing. I hope that makes sense to you. Sometimes you have to get in deep before you finally decide, well, maybe this isn't for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. And just because you decide to change courses, it doesn't mean you fail. It means that you've learned something from your past experience that you're going to take into your next experience that's going to ultimately result in you ascending to the next level. Wow. Listen, here's all that I'm trying to say. This is all I've been trying to tell you all night, and I'm going to get ready to close this out. It is in the crucible of your gritty start that you develop tenacity to keep moving forward. It is in the crucible of your gritty starts where you have the opportunity to tap into your inner strength to persevere through your challenging times. You know, one of the greatest testimonies you could ever have, that is, it's when you can say, I had a rough start. Wasn't even sure whether or not I was going to make it. But look where I am today. Look how I have come through. And here's the beautiful thing about having a gritty start, persevering through, getting to a smooth place, and then even ascending into a prosperous place. The beauty of all of that is that you can take every experience, every lesson learned, and apply it to something totally different and find yourself succeeding in another way and in another area of life. Well, that's our Mocha Moments for tonight. I truly hope that this has benefited you. If it has, share it with someone else. Even if you don't think it has benefited you, maybe someone else can benefit from hearing and receiving the link to this very Mocha Moment session. Remember, your primary objective is to add value to the lives of other people. And maybe, again, that these Mocha Moments weren't for you, but they could be for someone else. And you may be the very go-between that other people may need to access the blessings, the breakthroughs, the benefits that they desire for their own lives. You may be the very person that would bless them with the tools that they need to do what they desire to do and to get to where they want to go. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. It's been a blessing sharing with you. Remember, we won't be coming on Tuesday nights, but we'll be back here on Wednesday evening. I hope you all will join me here again on Wednesday evening for Mocha Moments. In the meantime, share this link with somebody. Invite them to join us for each and every session of Mocha Moments. If you know people who desire to develop themselves, they desire to get better, they need a word of encouragement, they need a certain push that they seem not to be able to find anywhere else, invite them to share with us here on these Mocha Moments. And also, you can provide them the link to my website, The Shepherd One. You can send them to our website. We have slots available for anyone who desires to engage our coaching services. If you think that what you get here on this platform, Mocha Moments, just imagine how much more you can benefit from having one-on-one sessions with me, your coach. And I'm calling myself your coach. You can benefit a lot greater and you can move forward a lot faster if you would engage Shepherd One for your coaching services. All right. That's all I have for tonight. And as I often say to you when signing off, my desire is that you be blessed and that you have a good night. See you on Wednesday.